What's up? So it's been quite a fucking while. My apologies for that. I've been busy playing Elden Ring, which, if you've ever been curious about getting into FromSoft games, highly fucking recommend it. It is like, to me, it really does seem like the perfect like entry level ass game. But yeah, back with another fucking video. Figure it's been long enough. Literally just beat it today, and I kind of want to get back into the habit of this. You're gonna have to forgive me. I am quite rusty. That last video had been recorded, I think, in like March. I just got around to editing it because I finally had some fucking free time lately. If you're wondering what we're listening to in the background, Carnifex, Graveside Confessions. I've already talked about this to death. You need to listen to it. Alright, first up on the chopping block, we've got Drengskaper with Was der Morsost Verschlang. I still can't speak German. Nothing much has changed since the last video. This is a German band. No shit, Sherlock. They formed in '02, and this is their full length from 2020. And by God, I love that fucking artwork, if you can even call it that. Just something about fucking vast landscapes and shit like that. Open fields in the fucking foggy ass forest. Primo shit. I heard this in 2020. I found it on the Black Metal Promotion YouTube page, and this is one of the ones that kept my interest the whole way through, which is a huge plus. I ended up getting a copy for me and a copy for my uncle. It is hand numbered. 340, I think 347 out of 500, so that's kind of neat. Yeah, this is a band that's only got they've got 3 splits, and they've got 3 other LPs. I haven't listened to anything else by them. I just know that I heard this, and I really liked it. I need to get around to checking out the rest of it, but as far as music goes, I haven't had much free time for, like, checking new shit out lately. It's been mostly just shit to keep my attention, because at work I've been thrown on an open cap lawnmower where I don't get a whole lot of noise reduction, so I'm just trying to go with things that I already know, like, mostly to, and I don't have to listen to too intently. That's why, you know, I've got a homemade cutoff. Yeah, it's super good shit. There's just a record that comes with it. There's one of the sides, ooh, God. There's the other. Center labels are more or less identical. There was a little booklet that came with it. I'm not sure what in fuck's name happened to it. Lord knowing me, 6 months ago I was probably drunk. Well, close to 6 months ago, it's only been 4, but still, point being is that I was probably drunk and fucking misplaced it. I'm sure I'll find it eventually. This whole room is gonna end up getting redone at some point in the near future. Yeah, so anyway, continuing on with this, there's not really too terribly much to go into detail about. It starts off with an instrumental track, and then it just kind of goes into your typical black metal foray, but it's not really like your atypical, like, oh, I've heard this Dark Throne and this Mayhem clone a million other times before. The riffs on this are actually kind of like prideful sounding, not too dissimilar to Goatmoon, which, if you know me, that's a huge fucking plus. It's proud sounding, but it doesn't have any of the sketch that goes along with Goatmoon. Yeah, I totally fucking recommend checking this shit out if you haven't. I got it for fairly cheap. I want to say like $30 after the conversion rate in euros and shipping it to the US, so it wasn't too terribly expensive. This one was released independently. The other ones are some German label that I did not write down and I can't remember the name of because, again, it is in a foreign language to me and I'm a dumbass American. But yeah, absolutely recommend you guys check this out, especially if you like Goatmoon ass riffs. It just doesn't have the same like intensity that like Voitotai Valhalla or Death Before Dishonor have. But yeah, check it out. That's Drengskaper with Was der Morsost Verschlang. Alright, next up, we've got Windhand with their self-titled album from 2012. And I don't believe I've ever actually talked about Windhand on this channel before, which is a little bit weird considering that, like, stoner and doom metal is, like, my big thing. Obviously, it used to be fucking deathcore, but nowadays, dude, like, doom. Fuck, I cannot. It's just the fucking riffs, dude. It's like, it brings me back to, like when I was 18 and 19, I was still fucking smoking. Like, it's good shit. There's not much more I can really go into detail other than that about. But yeah, if you don't know Windhand, they are a stoner sludge doom band from Richmond, Virginia, I believe. Another band with only 3 splits and 3 other LPs, which I promise I did not plan that, and I'm not counting live albums either. Yeah, continuing on. There's the inside of the gatefold. I really wish that this came with a fucking poster or some shit. And who knows, it might have, but I got this from a record show in, like, early 2020 before, you know, that certain thing hit. There's the back of it. Here's the LP. There's side A and side B. It comes on this very nice white vinyl. Here is the, well, not really lyric sheet, but more just the credit sheet. Honestly, dude, looking at this over, like, if you know me, I'm bad with, like, actual song names, just, like, albums, but if I'm remembering right, I think Black Candles and Heat Wolves were, like, 2 of my fucking favorites off of here. That or Summon the Moon. I specifically have a much more fond memory with Summon the Moon, because I was actually in the midst of finishing Dark Souls 3 for the first time upon listening to this record, and I just beat Slave Knight Gale while side B of this record played, and it was fucking awesome. And then I replayed it immediately after beating Dark Souls 3, and I actually listened to the legit soundtrack, and it was even better, but still really good. I credit this album for the whole reason that I was able to even get through that fight initially. That was hard. But yeah, if you are unfamiliar with Windhand and you smoke, or you are into, like, stoner sludge doom shit, these guys are, you're fucking up, dude. It's not like Pallbearer, where it's like kind of artsy and artistic kind of shit. This is more so just, like, straight up, like, fucking, like, you gotta be in the fucking zone to truly appreciate it, which most of the time I am, so it ends up working pretty well in my favor. Yeah, I cannot recommend this shit enough. The riffs on here are fucking immaculate. It's sludgy. It's not really grimy, but it's, like, super fucking hazy and great for just a fucking, like, it's good to put on as kind of background noise, but once you start listening to it more intently, it gets even fucking better, and I can assure you that. But yeah, if you guys aren't familiar with the Windhand, I wouldn't recommend starting here. I'd say Grief's Infernal Flower or even Eternal Return would also be super good places to start out in their discography. But there really isn't a bad Windhand album. Even the shit that they put out, the only split that I can remember the name of was with Saint and Satyrs. But anything to start out with Windhand, I say is good. But if you want my personal recommendation, Grief's Infernal Flower, that's where to start at. That was actually my first Windhand album back when that fucking came out. But yeah, check out Windhand if you haven't. That's Windhand with their self-titled. Yeah, so I don't think the last couple of videos that I talked about Guilt Moon I actually went into any level of detail, but obviously Finnish fucking NS black metal, dude, just the fucking riffs on this is honest to God a fucking contender for the best Guilt Moon album, period, riff-wise. Lyrics I don't read along, because I know exactly what I'd be getting into. And I'll show you, it's a little bit odd when we get to the lyric sheet, but yeah, the riff-wise is almost fucking unbeaten. Voitotai Valhalla is fucking up there, and it constantly kind of flip-flops back and forth between the two of them for me. This album is the shit. Put out through Werewolf Records. You can see all the lovely gentlemen in there. This dude looks like he's about to bust a fucking nut. This dude kind of reminds me of Scott from Zasthur with that pose. This dude looks like he's also about to bust a nut, and this dude looks like he's taking it. Fun times. Yeah, something else I found out during the research for this is that, you know, they have 5 other albums, which I know I have fucking 4 of them, or 3 of them. Apparently one just came out last year. I did not know that. I believe it's called Silver Serpents. Yeah, did not fucking know that. But I've got Voitotai Valhalla, Stella Polaris, Death Before Dishonor, and Finish Steel Storm. No fucking idea where the hell that other album came out from. It came out, like I said, last year. That fucking blindsided me. I've got to get my hands on that somehow. Also, if you're wondering why I'm not naming off, you know, how many splits that they've had, it's because Goatmoon has had more splits than I care to remember, or write down how many. Fuck you. I don't have that much free time. Yeah, here's the actual LP. It's on Clear and Merge? I guess that would be Merge. Yeah, then you can see here the Werewolf Records logo. And then here's the lyric sheet. And like I said, this is only 4 of the songs. I believe these are the 4 on side B of this record, which is peculiar to me. Not that it makes that big of a difference, because again, I don't read along to Goatmoon lyrics simply because, again, I know exactly what I'm going to be getting into. I believe that this is a credits list. I'm not quite sure. A lot of this shit is in German. Or Finnish, fuck. And the last thing to show off that this fucking LP comes with is this massive fuck off poster. This is Watain, the Wild Hunt levels of fucking ridiculous. And unlike the Wild Hunt, I would not want to hang this up because it's literally just 2 fucking Finnish goobers in the snow making spooky poses. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would like to have that up in like a different situation, but this is fucking Goatmoon. I don't know. These pictures are fucking great though, dude. Like, homeboy's over here with what looks like a goddamn halberd, and the other guy's got a fucking flail, wearing Isengard and Burzum shirts. Like, it's stupid as shit, and I fucking love it. But yeah, if you guys aren't familiar with Goatmoon, you haven't checked them out because whatever the fuck reason, or just have never heard of them in general, again, do not recommend looking up the lyrics if you want to remain innocent. I'd highly recommend either this or Voitotai Valhalla for like your introduction to them, because Jesus fucking Christ, like I said, the riffs don't even sound proud. They sound like nobility wrote them. They sound like they sound like fucking like generals on horseback, like riding into fucking battle. That it's immaculately fucking written. If I'm gonna put anything in here, it's either gonna be Quest for the Goat or Valley of Shadows, both of which are really fucking good songs. Highly recommend you check out Goatmoon. Again, if you're not adverse to the sketch, that's Goatmoon with Varjot. Next up, we've got Weed Eater with And Justice for Y'all, and that's about how I'm feeling lately with current events that have been going on. Weed Eater is a band from North Carolina that was formed in '95, and this is their first album from 2001. Just a bunch of fucking looks like handwritten shit in here. Obviously, it's not handwritten, but dude. Fucking Weed Eater is the shit, dude. Here's the back of it. Yeah, Weed Eater is the fucking shit. It's another example of, like, if you're not into, like, sludgy, stoner doom, they literally call their music weed metal, which, I mean, it's more fucking humorous than hearing Viking metal for the umpteenth time, but for fuck's sake, just because you write about fucking marijuana does not mean that you invented a whole new fucking genre, although I'm sure that with them it's at least made in jest. Yeah, fucking, it's entertaining enough shit. I don't really hear much of the lyrics. This also didn't come with a fucking lyric sheet, but doesn't matter. The fucking, dude, this as compared to that Wind Hand that I showed off is particularly like fuzzy sounding. Like, definitely some pedal, I know that there's fuzz pedals, definitely used something on there to assist in the recording of this. That is fucking great. They've got 4 other LPs and a split out. I believe it's a split. And the last album they put out was, God, almost 10 years ago in 2015. It fucking hurts to think about, but yeah, let's get into it. There isn't much to show off with this. It's literally just the record. I believe I also got this at that same record show that I got the Wind Hand from. Just the vinyl. It said semi-opaque yellow, which, I mean, kind of, sort of, yeah. The center labels obviously are the exact same, but I know some of you guys are probably nerds for seeing how the actual wax looks. And this is just something entertaining that I found while I was looking on the back of this. You know, they put out through Season of Mist, 2014, I believe, is that those Roman numerals. MMI, Weed Metal LLC. Do they like incorporate weed metal in industrialization at its finest, I guess? But yeah, there's not really too much more for me to go into detail about this. Again, if you don't know Weed Eater and you like fucking like stoner sludge shit, highly fucking recommend it, especially if you're into the fuzzy aspect. This album in particular is the shit. I haven't listened to Weed Eater for a while before I picked up this album, and god damn, I am so happy that I fucking have this on fucking record. But yeah, check it out if you like stoner shit. This is Weed Eater with And Justice for Y'all. Quick note before I move on to the last LP. This is strictly limited to 400 copies worldwide, and also these recommendations that they put on here is pretty on point. Bongzilla, if recommended if you like Bongzilla, Electric Wizard, and I Hate God, dead on. Alright, and last up for today, I'm only gonna do 5 LPs, purely because I want to list the ones that are like the freshest in my memory. Lastly, we've got Panopticon with Social Disservices, and this is actually probably one of my favorite like Panopticon art pieces. I feel like it says a lot with what is seemingly pretty little. And let's see if I can, yeah, you can see that it's spot glossed on there, and it's pretty nifty. And then on the back here is also spot glossed, if I can get that. There you go, you can see that. Yeah, this is put out through Nordvis and Bind Rune. This was, I believe, the 3rd Panopticon full length. It's either the 3rd or the 4th. I know that Austin had a self-titled LP at the very beginning of their career. And by the way, I wanted to correct myself, even though I'm fairly certain that I did. He does live in Minnesota now. But yeah, I believe that this is the 4th Panopticon LP, and this is certainly the end of this era of Panopticon. You can kind of tell, especially the massive tonal shift between Social Disservices moving on into Kentucky, which obviously then gave us like the fucking trifecta of amazing Panopticon albums, that being Kentucky, Rose to the North, Autumn Eternal. Yeah, this shit is so fucking good, dude, and this is a really, like, obviously deeply personal album to Austin Lunn. And reading through the lyrics especially, you can tell, not that you'd be able to fucking really hear the lyrics and make out most of what's being said most of the time, but that's kind of the charm to a lot of Panopticon shit. But yeah, obviously an extremely deeply personal album to him. I was actually reading through the liner note on the lyric sheet, And essentially, what the entirety of the album is about is how fucked from his personal experience and secondhand experience, how fucked the American mental health care system is in the US, which is entirely fucking valid. Like, there is such a massive shortage of, like psychologists and people in general in the mental health field who genuinely give a fuck about their patients. A lot of them are just in it for the money. This album in particular is about being inside of a mental institution, but again, like, it still rings true even to this day. Like, it's getting a little bit better, but like it's definitely not like one flew over the. It's not like we're living in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where if you're too rowdy, then the nurses and doctors can literally just lobotomize you. And I'm fairly certain that electroshock therapy is outlawed in the U.S. But dude, it's perfect in just the right way, and it's personal in the lyrics, and it really does like sound like a very personal project to Austin Lunn, and I really appreciate it, honestly. Yeah, let's get into what's actually in it. Here's the LP itself. I believe that's side A, and then, yep, that's side B. Super cool, crystal clear, fucking white and gray splatter. Really dig this. And then, here's the lyric sheet with more art by Austin Lunn, and then here's the long, I don't want to call it a manifesto, but that's the wrong word, but basically the aside and the what is this album about from Austin on here. But yeah, I don't really have much more to get into about it. If you haven't listened to earlier Panopticon shit, i.e. this Collapse on the subject of mortality, highly recommend you do it. I haven't really read into the lyrics on my copy of on the subject of mortality. I am actually getting Collapse fairly soon here. But yeah, if you haven't fucking listened to this old Panopticon shit, I highly fucking recommend you do. It's not the same like bluegrass black metal that it was on Kentucky and Rose to the North, but it's still really, really fucking good, and you can tell Austin Lunn poured his fucking heart and soul into it. But yeah, this is Panopticon with Social Disservices. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. I apologize for the huge-ass gap between videos. It's not going to be nearly as frequent, especially now that I'm done playing Elden Ring. But yeah, I'm going to try and get more of these out a little bit more frequently, because all it is an excuse to put shit onto the turntable, which I'm never going to complain about. But yeah, thanks for watching, and deuces.